Hello there. My name's Rob Snyder, and I'm really excited to give you this presentation from HourWork on employee retention and turnover data from a recent analysis that we just did. So let's dig in. I'll give you a little background before we get into the analysis. Back in 2021, our company analyzed over 20,000 exit surveys from over 1,000 restaurants across the country. And based on that, we realized a couple of really interesting things that we'd heard rumors of, but never really seen in the data. And so when we looked at these exit surveys, we saw first that in the first 90 days after an employee starts, employees are 5 times more likely to quit due to miscommunication and things like that than they are after 90 days, which is crazy. So employees are quitting for entirely preventable reasons, right? Communication is preventable, it's solvable. And we saw that in the data, and that blew our minds. But then the other piece that we saw that was also interesting was that in the first 90 days, employees were half as likely to quit due to the manager or the working conditions than they were after 90 days. Which told us that in those first 90 days, there's a huge communication problem. And if we solve that communication problem, we could really reduce turnover and increase employee retention. And so that was why we launched the first employee retention product on the market, which we call touchpoints. Launched that over a year ago now, in order to do a couple of things. The first was to automatically check in with employees by text and email, especially in those first 90 days, but throughout their entire employee journey, to make sure that we were surfacing any questions or problems they had so that frontline managers could take action to prevent employees from quitting. So that's what we've done in the past over a year now. We've rolled that out to thousands of restaurants. And the feedback we've gotten has been absolutely positive, game-changing, right? These are the insights that we can't live without. I can't believe I existed without getting this feedback, and all of the stories of people who our customers were able to prevent from quitting because they found out this information that they otherwise wouldn't have known. Now, obviously, if you want more info on the product, you can get more info at our website and free demos also. There's a way to schedule a demo there. It's HourWork.com. But, the HourWork retention product really does these two things. It checks in with employees, and it helps managers prevent turnover based on that. Now, there's always been this question, like everyone's saying, oh my gosh, this feedback is so useful. And here are 3 employees that I've saved from quitting. And yeah, that's awesome. But let's look at the entire universe of data and see, how does this actually impact turnover? And so we've just done a huge analysis on this, and I'm really excited to share it with you on what are the results when we look at all of our customers, how their turnover has changed before and after implementing HourWork. So we looked at over 280,000 hires in 2021 and 2022 and looked at the 14, 30, 60, 90-day turnover before customers signed up for HourWork and after customers signed up for HourWork. We also checked for seasonality, and this was a nationwide study, even including Hawaii, right? So we are from Maine down to Florida, all the way to California and Washington, middle of the country, Texas, everywhere in the US. And here's the results. It was crazy. So let me explain this to you. On the left side here, we have the reduction in turnover, 14-day turnover, 30-day turnover, 60-day turnover, 90-day turnover. And we looked at the 6 months before customers implemented HourWork and saw, okay, the 14-day turnover for employees hired in the 6 months prior to starting HourWork was 7.9%. And we compared that with the turnover in the 3 months after they implemented HourWork, because that was the best data set that we had. And the results you can see over here, right? It went from 7.9% to 6%, which is a 31% decrease in the first 14-day turnover. And you can see for 14, 30, 60, 90, right? All of those decreased by somewhere around 25 to 30% in employees' first 90 days, which was just like, this analysis felt really good to do, and to see the real data when we had heard all of the anecdotes and we had done some individual customer analyses for them, and it looked like this. But it was great to see on such a massive data set from across the country. And like other interesting thing is the overall industry turnover rose during this period. And so our customers were able to see that decline, and that makes me feel really good about what our customers are able to achieve. So a couple of takeaways here. I'll just put them on the screen. First is that a lot of your employees are quitting for preventable reasons, like, we forgot to put them on the schedule. Little things like this happen far too much. Like, we know they all happen too much. Employees forget things from orientation, and this just happens. This is just the norm. And so, that's a huge thing, and this happens all the time. And so there are ways to catch these miscommunications, these little errors that make big differences, right? Low cost, easy to implement solution that can help you reduce turnover, which is kind of what we've built here, this retention solution. So if you want more info or free demos, you can go to HourWork.com, as I mentioned before. Feel free to email me too. I'm one of the owners here, happy to point you in the right direction or share more information. My email is rob@HourWork.com. I hope this was helpful for you to see, and excited for the future of the restaurant industry.